goes #1 last night. But for her rookie season, she's only making $76,000. I say only, but that's just in comparison to other NBA players and WNBA players. What does that say about the pay gap in women's sports?
You think Caitlin Clark's $70,000 WNBA salary is a joke? Think again. This isn't just about basketball. It's about a 22-year-old mastermind who's got the entire sports world wrapped around her finger. While everyone's focused on her unfair pay, Clark is quietly building an empire. We've uncovered her secret playbook, and trust me, it's about to change everything you thought you knew about athlete empowerment. Christine Brennan even broke it down on CBS News. I think the eyeballs on this number is $76,000. Now, again, she's making much more than that. Her endorsements are into the millions. There's also a chance of having $250,000 contract for an addition for marketing the WNBA. I'm sure she'll get that as well. So she's going to be a multimillionaire. Let's break it down. The average WNBA rookie salary is around $60,000 to $70,000. People see that number and immediately start comparing it to NBA salaries or other pro sports. They're outraged, calling it unfair, saying Clark deserves way more. The salary gap between male and female athletes are shameful. Clark, it's bigger than TV, and she's definitely eyes to the game of basketball. And you know what? They're not wrong, but they're also missing the bigger picture, because here's the truth bomb. Clark's actual earnings are way, way higher than anyone realizes. We're talking millions. How much exactly? Well, when you add up all her income streams, Clark's pulling in more than some top NBA rookies. Now, word on the street is that Caitlin Clark basically made around $11 million for the year of 2024. Can you believe that? The girl everyone thinks is getting shortchanged is actually out earning some of the guys people assume are making bank. Now, you might be wondering, how is this possible? Well, that's where Clark's genius comes in. See that low WNBA salary? It's not a problem for her, it's a gold mine. Every time someone talks about how unfair her pay is, they're spreading her name, they're building her brand, they're making her more valuable to sponsors. Her big thing is to be ready for WNBA season. And people are like, why? She's only making $70,000 in the WNBA. What is the point of her worrying about that league rather than trying to push for other leagues and other ways to make more money? Because the WNBA is what's getting the most eyes. And Clark, she's playing it perfectly. No complaints about the salary, no demands for more, just quiet determination while letting everyone else do the talking. Meanwhile, she's steadily building her empire, orchestrating the sports world like a maestro without anyone even realizing it. Even when encouraged to join Unrivaled League for extra cash, she declined, stating that she needed a break from basketball. Man, she is hotter than Fish Goose right now when it comes to making money. That's why she didn't have to do the Unrivaled League. That's why she didn't have to do none of the stuff they wanted her to do during this offseason for the W. Kayla has done enough. Let her spend her money, enjoy her life, and get moment. That $70 KWNBA salary everyone's so worked up about, it's less than 1% of Clark's total earnings. Yeah, you heard that right, 1%. The salary everyone's focused on is just a tiny drop in Clark's money ocean. Boy, you can see here, she's like, you're not worried about a rookie contract. So now you're probably thinking, if the WNBA salary is such a small piece of the pie, where's all this money coming from? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the real genius of Caitlin Clark's master plan. And trust me, it's going to change everything you thought you knew about how athletes make their money. Remember when giving a class presentation felt like the scariest thing ever? Caitlin Clark turned that fear into a gold mine. Her speaking fees are jaw-dropping, $100,000 for a 30-minute virtual session and up to $300,000 for in-person events. Can you believe it? That's more than most people make in a year. I think she probably does a lot of things for free. That would be my prediction, is that if she wants to be somewhere and she just wants to help out, she'll do quite a few things for free. But if she's not doing it for free, I would say her cost is crazy, crazy high. Charity is the only exception to her steep fees for a 30-minute speech. Otherwise, her charges are notoriously high. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's not just cashing in, she's building an empire. Every time she steps on stage, she's connecting with fans and business leaders, getting her name out there. It's all part of her strategy. She's thinking long-term, planning for life after basketball. He's building a massive brand, which is why she can charge a cool $100K for every quick speaking engagement. Now, you might be wondering, how many of these gigs she's done? Well, fans have been keeping track, and they estimate she's done at least 6 virtual sessions. Do the math, and that's a cool $600,000 right there. And that's not even counting those big money in-person appearances. Which, I mean, if Steinberg is true, Clark made a minimum of $600,000 from speaking engagements alone. Caitlin Clark fans are quick to point out that their tech caps, they've had 6 speaking gigs that Caitlin has had in the past year. So what's the total tally? When you add it all up, Clark's speaking engagements alone have probably earned her well over $1 million. And remember, this is on top of everything else she's doing. It's like she's got a whole other career going on off the court. I think all the online stuff for like random companies, she's getting paid a lot. I think if it's a random company that there's no reason for her to be like really going out of her way to promote, then she's probably getting paid a boatload of money. This is just the beginning. Clark's speaking career is soaring, and her endorsement deals are proof she's more than a basketball player. She's a brand and a voice people want to hear. There's even more to Caitlin Clark's story. To the ladies, Caitlin Clark has signed a multi-year partnership with Wilson that will include a signature basketball collection. The company announced that Tuesday. Now, according to Boardroom, the only other athlete who has developed a signature collection with Wilson, that's right, she signed an endorsement deal with Wilson, making her the first female basketball player to land such a contract. The last athlete to pull off something like this was Michael Jordan. And it doesn't stop there. Clark is a marketing powerhouse, already partnering with State Farm in a multi-million-dollar deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, don't worry. State Farm makes it easy to file a claim on the app for a new car or even that old Pacer. She has truly mastered the art of leveraging her influence beyond the court, and if that wasn't impressive enough. At the start of this year's WNBA season, it was announced that Caitlin Clark signed a massive endorsement deal with Nike. This deal was for 8 years, $28 million, with a signature sneaker included. Clark landed the biggest deal of them all with Nike, a jaw-dropping $28 million contract for a rookie. It's the kind of deal even seasoned pros dream about. But wait, while we're busy celebrating Clark's earnings, there's a twist. Could millions have been left on the table? How could one of the most recognizable figures in women's basketball possibly have undervalued herself? Sure, an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike sounds incredible. But some experts believe Clark might have been capable of negotiating something even bigger. At the time, while some people, including myself, were saying that this might be a little bit too low because of the superstar that she is. The real magic of these massive sports deals often lies in the extras, especially the shoes, and this is where Clark's deal might fall short. Nike has yet to release a Caitlin Clark signature sneaker. Now, since she has signed this contract, you guys, and her WNBA season has come and gone, and with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials, we have not seen any ads, we have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise, and we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. It is mind-blowing. Signature shoes are where the big money is. Just look at Air Jordans or Steph Curry sneakers. These iconic lines bring in massive revenue. Without her own signature shoe, Clark could be missing out on a huge chunk of potential profits, making her $28 million deal seem like pocket change. The reality of the situation is that the reason why the Nike deal is so bad is that you make the vast majority of your money. If you sign a signature deal with Nike off the cut, you get on your own line. The Michael Jordan freaking thing where it's like he makes 5% of everything. Clark's popularity has skyrocketed. And she's now a household name in basketball. Every time she steps onto the court, all eyes are on her. That kind of attention has the power to turn a shoe release into a gold mine. She had the craziest momentum that we have ever seen with any athlete in the history of ever. As Clark's fame grows, her signature shoes could fly off the shelves. Every young basketball player will want a pair, and every fan will be eager to get their hands on them. It's about becoming a part of Clark's incredible journey. While the $28 million contract is impressive, the real question is what's missing. A signature shoe line could be the key to unlocking Clark's full financial potential. The reality is, though, is that once she gets that signature Nike shoe, it's about building a brand that will endure long after her playing career ends. And here's the kicker, Nike is missing out by not seizing this opportunity. How do you miss an opportunity like that? How do you not capitalize? It doesn't make any sense at all. Clark's impact on the WNBA's bottom line is huge. We're not talking about a few extra sales here. Her influence is so massive, it's like she's got her own gravitational pull. The league's viewership through the roof. revenue skyrocketing. And get this, Clark's responsible for generating 26% of the WNBA's entire revenue. That's right, one player is bringing in more than a quarter of the league's money. But it's not just the WNBA that's feeling the Clark effect. The entire city of Indianapolis is cashing in. Hotels, restaurants, shops, they're all benefiting from Clark mania. It's like she's turned the city into a basketball mecca overnight. A big Fever fan. It's almost a full house every game. It's awesome to see. Obviously, like restaurants and hotels and everything around the city are getting revenue and stuff from coming to see them play. So it's a great time. A time that business leaders don't want to end. During the normal WNBA seasons where you don't see as much of the last few years, you know, this year we picked up and now you got your June, July. Now, here's where things get really interesting. All this money flowing in is putting some serious pressure on the WNBA. People are starting to ask questions. If Clark's bringing in this much cash, shouldn't she be getting paid more? And it's not just about Clark. This is opening up a whole conversation about player salaries across the board. And when I say this, and I'm being completely honest, because all the money she generated for Indiana, all the money she generated for the Fever, all the money she has generated for the total cost of the franchise, I reckon the Fever is probably worth $300 million right now. And I'm not joking with that. I think it's worth about $300 million with Herb Simon. And I genuinely think $30 million a year is being like a little bit, is being conservative. I'd say $30 million. You might be thinking, okay, but how does this change things for the league? Well, let me tell you, we're talking about a potential big shift here. Clark's in a position to push for changes that could benefit all WNBA players. But here's the kicker. Clark's positioned to capture a quarter of the WNBA's revenue growth. Let that sink in for a second. One rookie could end up with 25% of the league's new money. That's the kind of bargaining power that could force the WNBA to completely rethink how they do business. The average ticket price has gone up, say, roughly $100. So that right there is looking at $1 million per game. And so if you take that times 14 home games, that's $14 million. So what's next for Clark and the WNBA? Well, that's the big question because Clark's not done yet. In fact, her next move might just change everything we thought we knew about women's professional sports. The game's changing and Clark's holding all the cards. So what's the real story here? Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating on the court. She's completely rewriting the rules of the game off it. Think about it. While everyone's busy talking about her WNBA salary, Clark's quietly building an empire that could change women's sports forever. They did release a list of the top earning female athletes, and Caitlin Clark is 10 at $11.1 million. You might be wondering, how's she doing it? Well, Clark's not just thinking about next season or even the next 5 years. She's playing the long game, setting herself up as a brand that goes way beyond basketball. Those speaking gigs, that Nike deal, they're just the beginning. A few months ago, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. I would be shocked if it's under 15 million. And the fact is, if she didn't get screwed by Nike and got what she was realistically worth, which is probably the 10 million a year, that could be closer to 20 million. Clark's success isn't just about her, it's forcing the entire sports world to rethink how they value women athletes. The WNBA sponsors even entire cities. They're all scrambling to keep up with the Clark effect. So what's next? That's the million-dollar question, because at this point, it's not about whether Clark's getting paid enough. It's about whether the rest of the world can keep up with her. One thing's for sure. We're watching history in the making, and Clark's just getting started.